Hi Rosalie, my lovely, how are you? Thank you very much for your patience. This week has been mental for me. Also, a lot of things happening with family. All good, but it's just too much when you're trying to get your business running and all the stuff. Now, focus of the check-in. I know I have given you the new macros. We haven't been able to implement them fully because well, you were ill last week and you're still a little bit injured this week. The remaining of this week, just deal with the injury on your lower back, keep doing the stretches, keep doing the foam rolling, and just do the best you can. You get back into training. But I'm just gonna set you up with the next steps to take with your nutrition, because this is going to be our biggest focus. Consistency in training, you have it there. Consistency of steps, you have it there. You're working already on your sleep. Next focus is going to be nutrition. So it's been very long since we have been trying to implement 4 meals. Now, I'm not going to be hard on you because I know the last couple of weeks you've been feeling poorly, upset, and the last thing you want to do is to eat a lot more food if you know that you're not training. But from next week onwards, this is what I suggest. Yes or yes, you're going to be sticking to these eating times. So it's 5 hours, 3 hours in between those 2 meals, then 4 hours in between those 2 meals, and then 3 hours in between those 2 meals. I know that your training time is any time in between these 2 or in between these 2. So what we're going to be doing, and especially because consistently your macros or your carbs are not very high, we're going to be using 1 serving of that supplement that I have suggested to you on training days. 1 serving of that supplement will give you 25 grams of carbs. So this way we can ensure that at least on your training days, I'm gonna put that in here, notes. Dextrin, 1 serving on your water on training days. Track this serving, all right, on my fitness pal, as this is accountable for 25 grams of carbs, right? Normally you are like, and this will already bust on non-training days, means that you will have 25 grams of carbs less, but I'm not that concerned about that. What I'm trying to do is build up the confidence on you eating the right carbs, and what I will be doing is just kind of give you some suggestions. So at the moment you have only been eating 3 meals. I also know for the quality of the photo, the quality of food is very good because of the photos that you send me. As I've been telling everyone this week, we want to make sure that we have 4 meals a day, because when working on body recomp, we want to make sure that your body is getting little bursts of protein, which are amino acids, and little bursts of glucose, which are the carbohydrates, throughout the day. Then the fats are for hormonal functions, and the fibers are for digestibility and macronutrients, fruits and veggies. So this is what I suggest. We have 4 meals, at which every meal, what we do is spread evenly. So these are the macros that I give you. So 4 meals ideally, at which your protein target is 30 to 45. Yeah. Then everything else you divide it evenly. But what I was trying to do is, or what I was trying to explain, these 3 meals are great, really good balance. I mean, not enough protein for sure. If it would have been in a normal day, I would, yes or yes. So I don't know how else to repeat this. Yes or yes, your servings of protein, in order for you to use the protein for muscle protein synthesis, have to be this here, right? This one's in here. Where did I put it? 30 to 45, not 19. So if I have 19 in here, and this is even if you're not training hard, your protein targets will never change. Training or not training. Maybe on non-training you have a little bit less carbs. Let's say you have a week of training, so you want to have less carbs, that is okay, but your protein must remain the same always. So this is not an excuse that the protein is this low. So here, what I would have done, I would have get more of this. That's the only option, or get an egg with this until this is 35 grams. So these are your protein targets at the moment, which are 123. Is that right? 125. So 125 divided 4 equals 31 grams. And if it's 125 divided 3 equals 41. Yeah. So that is how what I wanted to do this week, besides getting back into training, is plan your meals for your current macros. From these macros, you know that 25 grams from carbs are coming from the dextrin that you're going to start implementing next week, meaning that you have 195 minus 25 equals, you have 160 grams to divide in between 4 meals. Yeah, so that's 40 grams of carbs per meal, from which I want you to always pair complex carbs with fruits. 2 servings, so two meals where there are complex carbs with portion of fruit, and 2 meals where there are complex carbs with portions of greens. So those 40 grams of carbs are not only complex carbs. There's plenty of greens in there that you will be tracking, or vegetables that you will be tracking, and 2 servings of fruits. So the way that I organize my nutrition, for example, my breakfast will be egg whites, egg, Parmesan cheese. That gives me the fats, the protein, and that's it, fats and protein. I will have a bunch of spinach, which I currently start adding on because I would have had fruits instead. Only fruits, but now I'm having spinach, and then I have 100 grams of blueberries and my sourdough bread. So from that I have my complex carb, my fruits, so my carbs from complex carbs and fruits, then I have my micronutrients from the spinach, and then I have my fats and my protein from the eggs whites and the Parmesan cheese. Then I will have my next 2 meals will be a portion of complex carbs, whether that is rice, potatoes, pasta, a portion of protein. So I normally have a fat source of protein for chicken thigh, salmon, meat, mackerel, and then in the other meal, if I have a fatty portion of protein, then in the next meal I will have a lean portion of protein, or most of the times it's just lean portions of protein. I have plenty of chicken breasts, I'm not gonna lie. So I will have that, and then I will have 1/3 of my plate full of greens on those next meals. And then my pre-bed snack is going to be Greek yogurt, peanut butter, 150 grams of strawberries and blueberries, so the mixture of 2, and some cereal. So then again, in every single meal, I'm pairing my carbs with my complex carbs with fruit in 2 meals, and 2 meals with veggies, actually 3 meals with veggies. This is to make sure that not only we focus on macronutrients, but we focus on micronutrients as well. And it's a good way of consuming carbs, but not getting the water retention that complex carbs, only complex carbs and refined carbs will give you. It's a lot different when we consume the carbs from donuts, from cookies, etc., than when we consume those carbs combined. The reason why we want to combine complex carbs with fruits or veggies is because this will provide us with some fiber, which will then slow down the speed at which your insulin raises when you consume carbs, meaning that it has less impact on the bloodstream, which is why people hate or blame carbs, that they make you feel hungrier. They make you feel hungry if it's only sugar and you have a massive spike of insulin and then you have a crash. But what you always consume for 80% of your day is complex carbs with veggies or fruits, and you allocate, for example, in my case, I allocate 10-15% of my day to 2 pieces of chocolate and 15 grams of the cereal that I like, that I combine with all brand cereal that has plenty of fiber. So this is honestly gold when it comes to body recomp. When it comes to trusting carbs, if I tell you, go and have 186 grams of carbs, and all of these are coming from cookies and donuts, definitely you will be retaining water, definitely you will be feeling bloated. But if you have them from complex carbs and fiber, all you're doing with this is having a bunch of micronutrients into your system, getting the good effects of the carbohydrates, and have a boost of energy throughout your day, because you don't have peaks of energy because you lack in food. You are so busy being a mom, etc., that you forget that you are hungry, and then when you crash down or when you get ill, is that you realize, oh, maybe I'm pushing myself too hard. And at the moment we have stalled a little bit, and it's for the lack of you feeding yourself properly. So if you apply these principles in the next 2 weeks, workout, your homework is to work out with your current meal tracking, adding an extra meal, getting your protein target to minimum 35 grams per meal, and starting to increase your carbs, taking in mind that you will be using the dextrin, which accounts for 25 grams of carbs a day. So watch this as many times as you have to watch it. I'm going to be sharing this with the team because I am just telling the same feedback to everyone. Carbs are great, but we also need to be very wise as to what carbs we eat. I, for example, have been on a mini cut, which I haven't actually gone in a deficit. All I'm doing is really studying my carbs and how I'm eating them, and really measuring everything. And I have already started seeing in my body getting leaner, not losing weight. The weight hasn't dropped on the scale, just me being able to have better muscle definition because I'm feeding myself properly. So many years it took me to realize that it's not only hitting your macros, it's being very wise as to how you hit your macros. And your best friend is going to be having small bursts of protein throughout your day, bursts of complex carbs throughout the day, bursts of fiber throughout the day. And whenever you are fancy to have a simple carb, or will always pair it with fiber and protein, so it will not have the same effect that if you just have a donut. I hope this is useful. I'm going to be sharing this with everyone else. The homework for your next 2 weeks is to figure out from next week that you get back into full load of training, how you're going to be having those 4 meals, what you need to do in order to get to your protein target, what you need to do in order to get to your carb target, and how you're going to be controlling your fats. Bye-bye.